Prime Minister's emissary, Minister Narayanaswamy, is greeted with angry slogans at Kudankulam, tells the protesters that their safety comes first, power later. Social activist Medha Patkar criticizes the Tamil Nadu government for not sending any representatives to the nuclear plant, says natural resources are at risk.
No emissary of the state government has visited the protest site. You already know that two emissaries of Ms. Jayalalitha ji went and met Mr. Narendra Modi on the first day of his fast.
Former Law Minister Veerappa Moily says defamation may soon cease to be a criminal offence. The Chennai Corporation releases the electoral rolls for the October civil polls, even as a colony in Taramani hopes to find a place on the voters list. The man who is said to have slit a young woman colleague's throat in a Villupuram hospital is arrested. He tried committing suicide after a public outrage. Employees of the Southern Railway Zonal level take to the streets demanding implementation of the 7th Pay Commission and removal of the wage ceiling on homes. The DMK strongman from Salem, Veerapandi Arumugam, is out on bail after more than a month behind bars in connection with land grab cases. And shopkeepers in Kottuppuram down their shutters to protest the opening of a TASMAC unit in the vicinity. This is the late night news on NDTV Hindu. I am Evelyn Matthew. Let's also bring you our national headlines at the start. The number of dead in the Sikkim quake climbs over 80, 50 in Sikkim alone. Thousands of homes are destroyed, fear of aftershocks among residents. An alternate route to Mangan is cleared. Finally, rescue teams and medical units reach the epicenter. Landslides still hold up rescue work. Football star Baichung Bhutia reaches out to the people in Sikkim with a hopeful message. A war of words between Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti after Mehbooba denies Sushma's claim that she praised Narendra Modi. At least 2 people killed, 15 injured in an explosion in the Turkish capital of Ankara. And in a brilliant final, Brett Lee gives Kolkata Knight Riders what looked like an unlikely win. Hundreds of protesters near the new Kudankulam nuclear plant in the Tirunelveli district made it impossible for Union Minister V. Narayanaswamy to address them on a burning issue in their area today. The Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office had been deputed by Dr. Manmohan Singh to meet with villagers. Despite sloganeering and deafening protests, he was quick to reassure them when he said that the people's safety was first, then came power. He added that the Prime Minister will decide whether to stop work on the nuclear plant. The visit comes after Jayalalitha's strongly worded letter to Dr. Manmohan Singh about halting all work at the nuclear power plant at Kudankulam. Earlier in the day, Mr. Narayanaswamy had met the state's chief secretary regarding the security of the plant at the site. Protests and hunger fasts by more than 100 residents have been escalating over the past 10 days after the authorities announced that the first of the 2 reactors set up at the coastal village would be commissioned in December. The minister will meet Chief Minister Jayalalitha tomorrow. Just to remind you that NDTV was the first channel to be allowed to film inside the Kudankulam nuclear power plant.
I came here first of all to understand the sentiments of the local people here. That is my main thing. And meeting the people and explaining to them, if the opportunity comes, definitely I will tell them. But I wanted to see on the first hand what is the people's agitation, what are their sentiments, their feeling about their Kudankulam project, which I have seen there. That I will definitely reflect to the Honorable Prime Minister when I talk to him over phone.
Is the government willing to shut down, halt operations for the time being, sir? The Chief Minister has asked that.
The Honorable Chief Minister also made that in the letter she has mentioned. This has been in the domain of the Honorable Prime Minister. The people also wanted that has to be done. But as far as the central government is concerned, as I told very clearly in Tamil, that the safety of the people is first for the central government and the power production later. Therefore, when there is a compromise on the security of the people, the government definitely will think or reconsider that. Government will reconsider.
And as the controversy over the nuclear power plant escalates, social activist Medha Patkar condemned the Tamil Nadu government for not sending any emissary to the site until now. She compared the interest in this issue to that while Modi held his fast in Gujarat.
When more than 100 people are fasting, no emissary of the state government has visited the protest site. You already know that two emissaries of Ms. Jayalalitha ji went and met Mr. Narendra Modi on the first day of his fast. Well, Modi is an accused. These are the innocent common people of the state, the electorate and the citizens of the state of Tamil Nadu, who have contributed to the building of the state and who are now asserting their rights with uncommon strength. There are physically challenged people and a large number of women who are entering 10th day of the fast, and while some were taken to the hospital in the critical situation, they have come back to the fasting pandal, and the others are likely to join soon, increasing the number of persons on indefinite fast. But thousands who are sitting there, not catching fish in the sea and not going to school, again have expressed their determination, which is also reflected in the letter written by former Justice V.R. Krishna Iyer to Jayalalitha.
Now, apart from the support from political parties and activists of late, the environmental and irreversible threats to the families there have been a grave matter of concern. Ms. Parkar warned that radioactive water pollutants could ultimately affect the natural resources.
It is very clear, therefore, that the fish workers in the coastal region, whether they are affected by this project or that project, cannot survive unless they assert their right to know what the plans are and their right to say yes or no to the plant. No one is against power, but if it is destructive power, whether political or electrical or neutral, power corrupts and corrupts absolutely. And that is what is being seen. It is known today that even the full-fledged information is not available. But whatever has come out of the EIA report on the first and second plant in Kudankulam is worth reading. I read it out to the people in Kudankulam, and I would only ask you to go through some of the sentences which critically evaluates the likely impact on water, land and relatedly fish, the aquatic wealth as well as the food chain. They clearly say that the radioactive water pollutants will affect these natural resources.
Moving on, the Union Minister for Corporate Affairs, Mr. Veerappa Moily, was in Chennai today for a special function. NDTV Hindu caught up with him and posed a question on his favour on decriminalising defamation law. He says it could soon cease to be a criminal offence.
With regard to defamation law, are you in favour of decriminalising it?
No, yes, that is already on the way. When I was law minister, I have already drafted a law on that, and possibly that will come out.
In other news making headlines, the Chennai Corporation released the electoral rolls for the local body polls today. The polls will be held for the extended limits of Chennai Corporation across 15 zones and 200 wards. With regard to Chennai, a total of 44,49,055 voters will cast their vote to elect the mayor as well as their respective councillors. There are 22,42,656 male voters in the city, while the number of female voters amount to 22,06,085. 314 transgenders have been listed. There will be 4,876 polling booths in the city and around 10,000 EVMs that's going to be used to cast votes. Each polling booth will have around 2 EVMs, one for electing the mayor and the other for electing the area councillor. The corporation will also follow the reservation policy and allocate 67 wards to women, of which 9 will be allocated to women belonging to the scheduled caste. 17 wards will also be reserved exclusively for the scheduled caste. Corporation Commissioner Mr. Karthikeyan announced that the final dates for the elections will be decided by the State Election Commission by the end of this week.
Today we have published the electoral roll for all the 200 wards, which relates to about 4,000 876 polling stations. The list has been published just now. Details about this will be available in all our zonal offices and in the municipality and town panchayat offices. People can have a look at it and check whether their name is included in the roll. If not, they can submit an application in Form 6 for inclusion of the names. For the forthcoming local body election, the corporation election, the government has decided that there shall be 200 wards, and the election for the mayor will be a direct election. So we will have 2 EVMs in each of the polling stations, one for the mayor and one for the councillor. And elections will be conducted in all the 4,876 wards.
Meanwhile, a group of slum dwellers in Taramani area are a disappointed lot. After that announcement, none of the residents' names have figured in the voters list released by the corporation today. And that's not all. For over 15 years now, about 200 families residing in the slum area have not cast their vote in any election, as none received their voter ID cards. The residents claim that repeated requests to the State Election Commission, Revenue Officer, as well as the corporation have fallen on deaf ears. However, there seems to be a ray of hope now when NDTV Hindu shared the plight of the slum dwellers with the Corporation Commissioner. Mr. Karthikeyan promised to take up the issue in a couple of days and seek a solution to it. More than 1,000 employees from the Southern Railway zonal level, along with DREU employees and central government employees, staged a protest today at the Central Railway Station. In their strike, they have demanded a merger of 50% of DNS allowance with the basic pay. Among the other demands were also that of the appointment of the 7th Pay Commission for revision of pay scales, as 5 years have already lapsed. They have also asked for the income tax exemption limit to be raised to 5 lakhs and the removal of the wage ceiling on bonus.
The main demands are the bonus ceiling should be removed and DA should be merged with the basic pay. Further, we also demand that in the accident, we have seen in the railway accident here, anti-collision device has not been fixed in most of the trains, and assistant driver has not been provided in the trains, EMU trains. So we demand that anti-collision device, as proposed in the corporate safety plan, within 10 years it has to be fixed. It has not been fixed. We demand that all the trains should be fixed all over India at one time, this anti-collision device.
You're watching the Late Night News. Up ahead, after the dramatic protests from farmers, the government gives in. Onions no longer a reason for these peasants' tears.